In today's lesson, I want us to carry on and look at how you determine or you find the rule. So in this example, we can see that flow diagram C, they gave us the input and the output. Now you're supposed to determine the unknown, which is going to be the rule. So how do you determine the rule? How can you simply find the rule? So this is what you can do. You can check what is the difference between input number 1 and input number 2, and then also check what is the difference between input number 1 and input number 2. So the difference between output number 1 and output number 2 is that we had 10, now we have 20. So it means that there was an addition of a 10, or we can say there was a multiplication of 10. And then if you check in the input, we have 1, we have 2, so the difference is 1. So what can I do? I can just check. If I say 1 multiply by 10, is it going to give me the output? If it does give me the output, I jump to the next output input and be like 2 multiply by 10 and check if it does give me the output. If it does give me the output, it means that this rule is going to be correct. So I firstly said let's add 10. So if we say 1 plus 10, the answer is indeed going to be the answer, which is 10, which was the output. Then if we say 2 plus 10, the answer now is not going to be the output that we have, but it's going to be 12. So it means that plus 10 is not going to be effective. It's not going to be the rule, but multiply by 10 is going to be the rule. So it means that here we're going to say multiply by 10. Okay, so let's jump to the next. Number 2, we can see that we are given the input, but not given the output, but not the rule. How am I going to work it out? I'm going to check with, okay, what is the difference between output number 1 and output number 2? And then check what is the difference between output number 1 and output number 2. So if I say 24 minus 8, the answer is going to be, let me see, so it's 12 plus 4, which is going to be 16. So let's firstly use 16 and be like 1 multiplied by 16. The answer is going to be 16. So since the input here, the difference is 2, let's try and say this 16 divided by 2. Divided by 2 is going to be 8. Now let's use 8 as the rule and be like 1 multiplied by 8 is equal to, it's going to be 8. And then the next input is 3, so it's 3 multiplied by 8. The answer is going to be 8, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 20, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So the answer is going to be 24, which is that one. So it means that the rule here is going to be multiply by 8. I hope this makes sense. Jumping to number 3, we can see that we are given the input, but not the rule, and then the output is given. So what do? We check the difference between output number 1 and number 2, the difference between input number 1 and number 2. So the difference between output number 1 and number 2 is that we're going to say 21 minus 7, which is equal to, what is 21 minus 7? So it's 20 minus 7, which is going to remain a 3. And then plus 1, which is going to be 14. So it means that now we have the difference of 14. What is the difference between the input number 1 and number 2? We're going to say 3 minus 1, which is going to be 2. So we can start off by trying out using 14 as the rule. So if we say 1 multiplied by 14, the answer is going to be 14. So it means that it doesn't give us the answer there. But then we can now check, or since we have the input different of 2, we can simply say 14 divided by 2, which is going to give us a 7, and then use the 7 as our rule. So if we say 1 multiplied by 7, the answer is going to be 7, correct output. The next one, we have 3, so we're going to say 3 multiplied by 7 is equal to 7, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So the answer is 21. And we can see that the output is correct. So it means that the rule is not going to be multiplied by 14, but it's going to be multiplied by 7. And then you are done. I hope this made sense.